Hi, my name is Brian Nash. I'm the host of How We Got Here, a genealogical podcast for Atlantic Canadians. And today on this video, I'm going to be reviewing my DNA results from MyHeritage. This isn't sponsored by MyHeritage. My in-laws actually just got me a DNA test from them before Christmas and as a Christmas gift, and I've been sort of waiting to share the results. I'm going to be doing a podcast where I'm going to go into this in a little more detail later, but I did want to share them now, and I really think the visual media, because MyHeritage does a great job in presenting the results. So before we get started, I want to sort of just say what I kind of suspect my results will be. So if I look at my family tree, now this isn't a complete family tree, it's only going back a few generations, but in these generations I can see my most recent ancestor to immigrate from to Canada. My great-grandmother, she immigrated from Scotland in 1905. This is my mother's side of the family. I can trace, obviously these are all Scottish people from Scotland. My grandfather's father, his family was also from Scotland. It was actually, I think, the next generation before this that they arrived in. One family arrived in the late 1700s, I think 1790, and the other one arrived in the early 1820s. My grandmother here, her father's grandfather, her great-grandfather, arrived from Scotland in the 1830s. I'm not sure on her mother's side. I'm kind of a brick wall, as I mentioned if you've listened to my podcast, in my New Year's resolution. This is actually one of my brick walls, and this is one of the reasons I'm really interested in my genealogical results. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get some clues, maybe to crack down that wall. My father's side, his mother's maiden name was Ryan, and yes, she was Irish. And her family all appear, as far as I've been able to determine, is of Irish descent. My grandfather, Nash, his family is from Ireland. There's one line I'm pretty sure is from Ireland, but I haven't been able to confirm. And actually on the actual direct Nash line, I believe it's Irish as well, from everything I understand, but I'm still I'm kind of stuck at one point that I'm thinking an ancestor actually came from the United States, was possibly a loyalist, and came here. So I'm going to share my actual DNA results. Notice I put on my headphones. That's because MyHeritage does a really, really nice presentation on telling you what your DNA is. They do it's quite a nice little visual presentation, and there's some music that goes with it, and I just wanted to listen to it, and so I can be in tune with you when we're going through this. So here it is, and as you can see, it's from MyHeritage DNA, as I mentioned. And so I'm Brian, and I'm ready to go, so let's go. So the Scottish and Irish does not surprise me. The Balkan kind of takes me by surprise, because I didn't expect. Oh, and Finnish too, and Greek and Southern Italian. Yeah, that actually is quite surprising there. So I didn't really. I expected about 80% Irish, Scottish, Welsh. I don't know of any ancestry that's Welsh, but if they're grouping that as all one region, that's not surprising. I kind of expected that. Like I said, I consider myself a Celtic-Canadian when people ask me my ethnicity. So that's not surprising. Now, Balkan and the Finnish and this here, the other 21.3%, that's kind of shocking to me. Um, I mean, I expected I could have had some Scandinavian, so Iceland, Norway, Sweden, or Denmark, just because of the influence that the Scandinavia had on Scotland, and Ireland as well, with the Vikings, and even into Eastern England, they had quite a bit of influence in the the early part of the last not the yeah the early part of the last millennium. So yeah, that wouldn't have surprised me to have some Scandinavian, and if I would have had some Germanic, so German, Netherlands, or Belgium, just because of the Saxon influence in Great Britain, and some English as well. I wouldn't have been surprised. Uh, According to this, it doesn't look like I actually have any English, so that might clear up something on one side of my family. It, if this is to be completely, if it's accurate, and I mean, this is close to what I expected, so I do kind of think that there's some accuracy. That's definitely there. The Balkan and the Finnish, I don't really have a way of explaining that. I don't know have any relatives that I've been able to find that came from Eastern Europe at all, or Finland. Um, and Finland's not a Scandinavian country, and they weren't part of the Vikings. Um, but the Finland and Hungary, like in the Balkan area, it's actually not kind of surprising that if a person had one, they might have both, just because um, Hungary and Finland actually are closer related than Finland is to Sweden or Finland is to Russia. Their languages are very similar, and they actually come from the Huns, which again is they also settle parts of Germany. So I'm not sure exactly how that's there. And this, what they call Greek and South Italian, takes in, Malta as well, Cyprus, it looks like. So it's Mediterranean, European. That's that all could be from the same line, from a group of ancestors that maybe had come into Scotland or Ireland at one point from the Huns. So that could be it. I'm not going to say. I'd have to actually look the details a little more. Um, so yeah, it's I got some surprising results. I wouldn't have been surprised either if I had some Spanish, just because of their influence in the UK, especially in a lot of people don't realize the Iberian Peninsula, the Portugals and the Spaniards did have some influence in Scotland and Ireland. There were times where there were some migration in that area. So yeah, it's kind of surprising. I mean, overall, nothing was shocking. I had no Asian or African ancestry, which that would have actually kind of shocked me, just because I wouldn't have seen that as well at all. Same as no indigenous North American or Central or South American. I just didn't see it in my heritage. The Italian, well, I do love pasta, so maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know, but yeah, it is a little shocking. I mean, um, John Cabot was from Italy, and he settled Cape Breton, and a lot of my ancestry is from, say, Cape Breton. Who knows? Um, well, he didn't really settle it. He discovered it, and his sons that came later, they they were there. I don't think they ever lasted and stayed, but there's definitely was that um, influence of the seafarers there that did come up to Great Britain. So it's possible there's something from there. But yeah, overall, um, my Celtic-Canadian, and yeah, that's what I thought. Close to 80%. Balkan and Finnish, that's almost 17%. And like I said, they're probably the same group. I I wouldn't be surprised if I look my ancestors that matched. A lot of them would probably that have I match on this part would probably have that, and I'm assuming maybe even the Greek and Italian might as well. They might be from a common ancestor, so that would be, 22%. So where would I be looking for that? Now I shared in one of my other videos sort of a common DNA where would I have it. So if I had 22%, 22% could be as close as a great grandparent. Their grandparents are 25, great grandparents are 12.5. Oh, I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, no, it's kind of shocking, kind of different. So let's just see what else that this will tell me. So if I view my full ethnicity estimate, let's see what it gives me. So with the new MyHeritage, they actually break it down. You can actually break down into regions, which is kind of nice. And the really neat thing is it actually tells you where some of the settlers were. So this first group, which seems to be my majority, because I noticed you can actually swing the pendulum down to less confident, more confident. If I do more confident, this is the one that winds up showing. And yeah, Atlantic Canada, New England, that's where the majority. Yeah, that's sort of where I would expect to find my ancestors. Not ancestors. My common, my cousins, so to speak, distant cousins, and I wouldn't be surprised Australia either, just because of known migration patterns. South America, neither there. So yeah, and that's not surprising. Iran, Iraq, close to Turkey. That's kind of shocking, but not really. Actually, there was the single largest church, Christian church in Iraq is actually Scottish Presbyterian denomination, and there had been a lot of missionary work done in the area of Persia at one point, so having people of Scottish descent there and shared is not surprising either. So yeah, no surprises there in that first group. So if I go back to this next one, this here, again, Atlantic Canada, some Newfoundland. Like I said, I brothers in Newfoundland and New England. Yep, not surprising. And I actually, if I go and I look, there's Ryan, which is one of my names. So yeah, not overall not shocking. And so if I go to my third group, and yeah, again, Atlantic Canadian, a little of Australian, New Zealand, but it actually looks more Australian, not much New Zealand. Yeah, not surprising. Cities, Newfoundland, Halifax, Boston. That's sort of where my relatives I know of are from in Boston, Halifax. I have a lot of relatives in the Boston area. So yeah, nothing shocking there. So let me take a look at a couple other things. So I'm just going to switch out of here because I want to make sure I'm not going to reveal anybody's personal information. And there is something really neat that you can do with the MyHeritage. It will actually let you filter. So I'm going to share, and again, without trying to share any personal information, I'm going to share a little bit here just to show you. So it lets you do a couple of neat things. So I can filter, and I can actually filter by certain ethnicities. So if I want to, I'm going to, this person here is actually a cousin, and I am aware they passed away a couple years ago. There would be a cousin of my father, so that first match that comes up is definitely relatives. So I can actually, if I want, I could choose Balkan, and I could just look and see what these Balkan ancestors, or people who have that same ethnicity in them, what who they are, and might be able to determine which side of the family that came from. Now I'm looking at it. Actually, when I'm looking at it at first, most of the names look Scottish. They're definitely Scottish, or English. There's one French name on the first page, so yeah, definitely. And actually, the French name's right in France, but it definitely looks like that's probably somebody who had immigrated to Scotland or England or possibly even Ireland and mixed in with my DNA somewhere. That's what I'm assuming, because looking at most of these people, I don't see many that are that come from Canada. In fact, on the first page, I'm not seeing any, and I'm not seeing my cousin that on my dad's side. So I'm assuming this would be something on my mom's side of the family, or that's on my dad's mother's side, that person. So it could be on my father's side. So I'd have to dig in a little more, and so I have some work to do. But anyways, these are my results, and I'm happy to share them with you. I want you to, listen for my podcast. Comes out every second Wednesday. Meanwhile, like and subscribe here. Like this video and hit the subscribe, hit the little bell button. I will be releasing videos in between podcasts every now and then, just on shorter subjects. And thank you, and you have a great day. And don't forget to visit my website, www.howwegothere.ca, and listen to my podcast on and wherever you listen to find podcasts.